You don't eat meat? Well, what do you eat? Bitch, everything. So I wanted to make this video about, my experience as a vegetarian, and it's been about 2.5 years. I started in March of 2016 and it's September of 2016, so that's a little bit of time just to give my experience, and also just like a lot of questions that I get, like the main thing, and then just my experience and some tips for anybody who's transitioning into being a vegetarian or vegan, and just some tips that I have, because like I'm not an expert, but I'm just gonna give you my experience, and then hopefully that can help you out. So when I initially went vegetarian, it was all because of a documentary that I saw that was like, you know what, like I'm the type of person where I will delve into the internet. Let me just put that as a disclaimer. Like I will delve into the internet and be on or looking at something in particular for a long time. Like every other week I have something that I might be interested in. At that time, that's how I was. So at this time, I'm not sure how like it all started, but I do remember just watching Forks Over Knives, Earthlings, and no, actually, what happened was, let me just take y'all back. So I was with my ex. We were just starting to get to know each other or whatever, and I had went over his house, and we had kind of just like chilled out or whatever. We were just chilling out, and I was like, fuck it, let's watch this doc. Now, I was already kind of into the documentaries about meat, and it was disgusting, and it was kind of like my mindset was like, let me show somebody else how nasty this shit is. Like, if you're like me and you cannot stomach certain things like slaughterhouses and not monkeys, but pigs hanging upside down. And I always tell people about this one specific scene that kind of like just was a whole wrap for me, was when I saw that these cows were like running away from their death. Like it was like, it blew my mind that they had the mental capacity to know what was going on, and they were like, this is some bullshit. That's what kind of steered me away from it. I was kind of like, this is enough for me. The type of person I am, how my mind works, I was just like, this is like disgusting. That's the best way I can put it, was disgusting. And then on top of that, just seeing how the animals were reacting just goes hand in hand with that idea of I'm transferring that energy over to me. Like that animal died squealing, screaming, upset, crying away from his family, and then like that, I believe that energy doesn't just evaporate, and then when I eat it, it's all good. So I mean, it was very easy for me to give it up. I had been eating chicken and turkey, and that was it. I had never liked beef or any of that. I might do a taco, but I promise that was it. And that was before I only ate chicken and turkey. Before that, I might eat, a taco or two or something like that. So it was kind of a smooth transition for me, because it wasn't like a big 360. Now I commend people who do a 360, those people who like steak and potatoes and who eat beef and pork on a regular, like the bacon lovers. I applaud any one of y'all who decide to give up meat, because that's a big step. But for me, I was already halfway there, and the reasons why I was halfway there, it's almost like I knew I was going to be vegetarian from even when I was a child, because when I was younger, I just remember my grandma Charlene, rest in peace. She used to make, both of my grandparents, sets of grandparents, are from the South. So I grew up seeing a lot of like those one kind of meals being made, those one kind of meals. So my grandma Charlene, she used to make things, and I would be like, I think it was like hamburgers, and I was like, why is there blood coming out? I specifically remember at a young age, I just was like, I don't really know about that. I don't know about it. Like, I don't know about that. Like, I don't know if I want that. I eat it here and there. family functions. I ain't gonna lie, I used to like a good hot dog with some baked beans. Like, I just ate the basics, you know. I wasn't never like a steak. Like, my mom, she liked steak. I was never a steak person. Like, I just, that's a little bit, that's beyond me right there, you know. And then some people feel like, oh, your taste buds must not be rich enough if you don't, you know, if you're not like this type of person that be like, I want to, you know, I want a 5-star steak. Like, no, I don't want no cow, bruh. Like, I'm cool on all that. Like, that's just. Anyways, this is a no judgment zone. I'm not judging you if you eat it, but what I will say is, I guess I just don't understand like the fat and the blood and all that, how that doesn't gross some people out. But anyway, so I showed my ex about the video, and he immediately like was like, I'm cool and all that. See, he was eating like how I was eating, like Philly cheesesteaks and stuff like that, little stuff that was now I never ate Philly cheesesteaks, but he ate like the little stuff that I was talking about, not like a full blown steak eater, but just, you know, here and there some beef and pork. But when I say he was done too, he didn't completely give it up at first, but he was really transitioning, and I think he ended up going vegetarian. And it was like July. It was like we met in June-ish, and he was done by July. So like it was like a really quick transition to I don't want that no more. It was relatively easy at first because I would do like, I remember I was still in college. I was like a junior in college, and in the cafeteria would just be salads and fruit and everything like that, which leads to me to my second segment, which is the tips that I have for you as new vegetarians, or people who are vegetarians still and they have been for a while and they're just looking for a little bit motivation to get back to how they were in the beginning, because I can tell you it does begin to transition into something a little bit different than what you might have thought. So I mean, I think at first everybody when they start out it's like, oh, you know, juicing, you know, everything out the side aisles, and you know, just super dedicated and making sure that they are eating, you know, not only meatless but the most healthy thing that you can get on the market. So initially it was like that for me at first. I lost a good 30 pounds, and I will insert some pictures here because I definitely have them. I'm gonna insert some pictures, just some, you know, pictures to show you guys like how good the diet was to me at first. So y'all can tell my face is a little chunky now, but I mean, what you have to make sure that you stay on track with is not substituting, not eating meat for a bunch of BS, because it's real easy to do that with just snacks and things you might consider healthy at first, but you realize like I'm eating a lot of this, then it's kind of turning into unhealthiness, which is I think what they say about in too much of anything is not good. And for me, I'm gonna give you 100% honesty about what my weakness was, even in not eating meat, and that was French fries. Yeah, girl, I love French fries, and I like bread, and I like starch. So, I mean, like when I go out to eat, or when I was going out to eat and I wasn't making the best decisions, my plate would look something like wild rice with maybe some broccoli and a salad, but a whole bunch of bread if we went out to eat. Like, bitch, you tripping now. So I mean, at first it was very much clean eating. It was everything raw, everything raw. But as time go on, you might start to slip up, and that's okay, long as you pick yourself back up. But just for example, on your lunch break, you might be like, "Yo, I'm freaking hungry," and you know, I'm freaking hungry. This is just at this point, I'm 2.5 years in, or however long that is. I'm pretty much not a vet, but I'm in this shit deep. You feel me? Like I know what it's like to not eat meat, so I know my go-tos and my restaurants and my places that make food for people who don't eat meat. Just for example, like Panera Bread, you might go there and get the Mediterranean veggie sandwich, but them chips, you know, that might not be the best option, so you might want to stick with the apple or something. But everybody knows that it's just as hard to make good choices as a vegetarian as it is as a meat eater. So You know, when I see people or hear people going vegetarian, that's like the biggest advice that I have for them is don't get comfortable. And like, if you're clean eating now, continue to clean eat. And one thing I know about them smoothies, they will be a pain to clean up. You will be like, oh my god, like this smoothie is good, but I do not want to clean up this bullshit. Like, and that's kind of what made me stop juicing. It's not a good excuse, but it's honesty. I just didn't. It was like my smoothies were good, but who wants to clean up green throw up all the time? I wasn't into the prepping yet, so it just slowly but surely turned into an unhealthy diet without meat. That's just being honest. So eventually I decided, like, hey, I want to turn this around, but it's going to take just as much hard work as it did to go vegetarian, to become a healthy vegetarian, because there is such thing as an unhealthy vegetarian, or vegan, or however you might, you know, identify. Just because you decide not to eat meat doesn't mean everything is going to change. Also want to add, for people who, I don't want to offend anybody, but I have to be honest about this. If you stop eating meat but you continue to eat dairy and milk and cheese and butter and eggs, to be 100% honest, you're very much making a big step, but it's almost counterproductive. That's just what I'm gonna say. I'm gonna use the word counterproductive because I'm really not trying to offend anybody. Because I mean, here and there on a slice of pizza, even a vegetarian pizza, if they accidentally, see, what happened with me is they'll accidentally put cheese in it and I end up pulling all this cheese off. But I'm not gonna sit back like I haven't had any cheese after, you know, I stopped eating meat or pledged to, you know, just eliminate all animal products. But if you're the type of motherfucker who sit up and don't eat meat but eat every kind of dairy, I hate to break it to you, but you're really just being counterproductive. So, with that being said, I really just was coming to give you guys a video for anybody who needs it, who is searching for a little bit of advice as far as, you know, making a transition into that lifestyle. You know, just make sure you don't slack off when it comes time to, you know, get serious. Because I mean, I think about, it was probably like 6 months in, and I had already started with the bad habits as a vegetarian, and just find some healthy snacks. I've been trying to do better with shopping on the outside aisles. Just, you know what I found out was really good that I will have to show you guys. You know what? I'm gonna be right back. Hey, I'm back. So I just want to let y'all know that this is something that I guess I've been sleep on, because let me tell you, I am the queen of potatoes. Like, I hate to admit it, but french fries is my weakness. So I ended up finding a healthy alternative: sweet potatoes. I was so sleep, y'all. Like, I was sleep on sweet potatoes. The fuck? So these are Cajun. I got them from Whole Foods. Cajun sweets, and these actually have sweet potatoes, Cajun spice, garlic, onion, green and bell pepper, celery powder, and spice extractive. Whatever that shit is, it was good because I had a sample in the store. Y'all, don't sleep on them sweet potatoes, because they are very much a healthy alternative if you like meat and you just like veggies with potatoes, and you just like a veggie and potatoes type person. I will kill some veggies and potatoes. So there's just that.